leadership coach. And today I wanted to talk about your unique value proposition. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about that is because over the last couple of days, I have spoken to a lot of people who are looking to change careers beginning in 2020, because it's such an important time to get all your ducks in a row and take this opportunity to really create a standout personal brand, position yourself the right way, so that when jobs come up in the first quarter of the year, you're ready to go. Because the biggest mistake that you can do is to just sit and relax and say I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to wait till next year, because you are going to miss out. Anyway, your unique value proposition. Now, the candidates or the clients that I spoke to, they sent me their resume to have a view of their CV before we had a chat. And so they are senior managers. They have over 15 years experience. They earn more than 150K, and they had one common problem. And that was they couldn't really articulate what made them unique. They were all over the place. Now, most people, maybe yourself included, you have so many years experience. You have so many skills to offer to an organization. And what most people do is they just make a list of everything that they can do, but they forget about what makes them unique, and if what they can do is what they want to do, because that's also a difference. Now, there's not a lot unique anymore in this world, but you alone have certain skills and experience that you have used in a certain moment in time with certain stakeholders, and the company was going through a certain phase, and that combination makes you unique. Yet, so many people struggle to articulate exactly that in their resume or in their interview or on their LinkedIn profile. And then when I speak to them, the issue is that they have all these struggles in their job search. They don't get feedback. They apply for jobs they know they have the skills and experience for, but they don't get an interview. And so they're bashing their head against the brick wall, not knowing what to change and what they're doing wrong. And it's all because how they are positioning themselves is very similar to all the other candidates that are applying. They're not defining their unique value proposition. And they thought their resume was good enough. They thought they would perform well enough in an interview. They thought their LinkedIn profile was standing out. But reality is that if it's a competitive job market, you won't. So let me break that down and let me unpack that a little bit, because this is really important. You have to really understand your market, your job market. So that's the first step. So I spoke this morning with a guy that was in mining. He was a mining engineer. Now, he doesn't need a resume. The companies that called him had his CV on file from years ago. And that is because that is in his location a very candidate short market. That means that there are more jobs available than they have candidates. So if a client or company is looking for a new engineer, they're going to look at the database, who they have on file, and contact that person. So that's a candidate short market. But a candidate rich market, on the opposite side, that means that you have so many candidates available and you don't have as many jobs. And so that's when it becomes really competitive. So when you have a really market where it's highly competitive and where you know that you need to stand out, having a unique value proposition, very clear one, is so important in your job search. Now, What's wrong with most unique value propositions? And you can see the unique value propositions in summaries that people put on their resume or on their LinkedIn profile, or even like the question that you get in an interview, like, hey, thanks, Tom, for coming to the interview. Tell me a little bit about yourself. You give you a pitch. That's what makes you you. So what's wrong with most of them is that they are generic. I spoke with a client or a potential client this morning, and she was using words like solving complex problems, and that's really that she has a unique approach, and that she's really one of her core strengths is dealing with the senior stakeholders and so on. And maybe that's true, maybe that's not true, but the issue is, or the reality is, that if they don't know you, if the hiring manager doesn't know you, which is most of the time the case when you're just like looking for a role and applying online, is that those words are meaningless because a lot of people will claim the same things. So you have to look at whatever you have out there, and is it really articulating clearly the problem you solve? And is it tangible enough to make that different to another candidate? Why should they hire Mary instead of John? Why should they make that decision? So you have to make sure that it's crystal clear to them. Now, a couple of things I want to say also about that. A lot of people come back to me and say, like, Caroline, don't want to pigeonhole myself. I have done so many things and I can do many things. And for me, it's not about pigeonholing yourself. And I work with my clients and I will never ask them to pigeonhole themselves. I simply ask them to have clarity, be clear in what you stand for. We have a saying, and the saying comes from the communication world. It's like, if you try to communicate to everyone, nobody will hear your message. And that's the same with your resume. If you're trying to pitch yourself to everyone, it's not going to resonate with anyone. So what I don't want you to do is to pigeonhole yourself, but I want you to be clear in what you stand for. And that clarity will be attractive to the right person. So if you are clear about what you stand for, about your unique value proposition, you will attract the jobs that will match that, and you will repel the jobs that don't match that. And that is what you want to create. Now, 3 things that you need to bear in mind when you're creating your unique value proposition. One of the big mistakes I see also with a lot of candidates, besides being text heavy or generic or whatsoever, is it's not about you. To be honest, nobody cares at this stage about you. If they don't know you, they don't care about that. So you have to really convert that and think about what's in it for them. Why should they hire me? What makes me so special to them? What problem can I solve for them that makes me stand out? So think about them, not you. Nobody cares about you, not at this stage yet. So that's the first thing. Second thing, it needs to be compelling. Don't write a unique value proposition that really doesn't convert, because you actually, if you struggle to have your resume convert into interviews, or you go to interviews and you don't get the job, that's because you're not compelling enough. So you have to think about, okay, how can I be more compelling? How can I be more convincing? So it's need to be compelling. And the third thing is, it needs to be concise. A lot of people, and we all know those people, you meet them at networking events, and even if you have done interviews yourself or read resumes, they go on and on and on. You don't want to be like that. So it needs to be concise. It needs to be to the point and just tell enough information so that they make a decision to go to the next step. So that is all you want to do. So you have to see as like a job search is like a step-by-step process. Your resume, if you choose your job search strategy is going to be just applying online, then you have to have a resume that converts into an interview. And then you have to have interview techniques that bring you to the second interview, and then you actually get the job offer. So you have to see where it breaks down. And I want to share my iPad with you guys. So I want to share a little diagram with you to make it even more clearer. Let me just see how I can do. Hopefully this works. Yeah, I love technology today. So, all right. So how I work and where a lot of people go wrong is because they don't see job searching as a process. They do bits and pieces, left, right, and center, and then they wonder why it's not working. So the way I see it, and two things, don't mind my spelling and don't mind my drawing. I'm not good, but I'm a very visual person. So if you are too, this is going to make sense. So first of all, what I work on is your positioning. Now, positioning, that is your unique value proposition. So what I do with my clients is like, first, what salary do you want to earn? Because are you talking the talk of the salary that you want to earn? Let me give you an example. If you say, I've got great writing skills, well, I'm not going to pay 150, 180K for just great writing skills. Or I can do social media posts or blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not really what it's going to what's making me decide. So we have to think that your positioning, the way you actually communicate to the outside world about who you are, what you want, and your unique value proposition is aligned. It's all about alignment. So your positioning is critical in this part. So, and it takes a lot of time because the clients that I work with have over 15 years experience. So they have built up so many skills over the years. They can do so much. So it's about connecting those dots. And the connecting those dots, it needs to be clear to you, so it's clear to somebody else. So we work around that, first of all. Very important. Then we work on your self-marketing material. And self-marketing material, that's the second part, and that is your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and your cover letter. But you see, that all has to be based on your unique value proposition / your pitch. And so, sorry, pitch. So if we haven't figured out your pitch, you can't possibly do your resume. Like, if people always come to me and say, like, Caroline, can you just have a look? Does it look good? How many words? Is it too much? It's like, it doesn't matter if it's too much or if it looks good or anything like that. It needs to be aligned with what you want. Otherwise, it's never going to happen. And people don't realize that. Oh, they brush up their LinkedIn profile. Yeah. Okay, now somebody did my LinkedIn profile. Somebody wrote, a resume writer wrote my resume, and which is good, but a resume writer is not an expert in what you do. Is not an expert. So if you can't tell your story very clearly, then a resume writer has limited material to write your resume or LinkedIn profile. And most of the time, the people that I spoke to over the last couple of days, they had their resume professionally written and still were struggling to get ahead. So it's because there is a disconnect between that positioning. That's why it's so important, and all the rest. And then you have a third part, that's your strategy. And a lot of people just forget about the strategy. So your strategy is your job search strategies. So your job search strategies are like, yeah, you can apply online and just enter in the black hole of doom, but there are ways to tap into the hidden job market to be more proactive. So you have to diversify your job searches to actually get success. They all need to be, you have to have different strategies. You can't just rely on one, and definitely not in a competitive market, what I said before, because if it's a competitive market, and you've seen how many applicants people have on jobs they publish on LinkedIn, and they have hundreds. And yes, maybe they, like, some of them will be rubbish, like maybe like 30% or 40%, but that still means that they're really good candidates. And you have to stand out from those candidates. And the better and the high profile the company is, they will have 500,000 of applicants. So you need to be able to diversify your job search and be clear about that. And then the second part of your job of the strategy is your interview techniques. And a lot of people think like, okay, I can interview, I got jobs, but not realizing that what got you to a certain level is not necessarily going to get you to the next level. So, for example, a lot of the people that I work with, they have over 15 years experience, and they go into an interview and they go into solution mode. So they see a problem and they say, pop, 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 I can do this, I can do that, and they go just in problem solving mode. The issue is that it's not because you can do it that you want to do it. So you need to be able to master certain interview techniques to be able to get the jobs and get noticed for the jobs and get considered and offered the jobs that you want. And that has all to do with your positioning, with how you communicate on your resume, LinkedIn profile. And that basically is going to be congruent with your interview style. And there's so many ways you can navigate the interview and be able to participate and be able to create like almost a conversation, rather a two-way conversation, rather than just like being like a sitting duck and just going through the process. So how do you change that? How do you influence that? How do you influence the outcome? Not a lot of people know that they have that power, but they do. And you not always, it's not a silver bullet that I'm saying that all my clients know how to navigate the interview. No, I'm saying like sometimes you just can't influence the interview process, but you can minimize the risk and you can maximize your chances. And you need to know how you do that and how you overcome objections. Now, for example, with objections, a lot of the objections that people get in an interview is like, you don't have the relevant industry experience. We chose a candidate that has more experience in a certain industry. And you think like, I don't understand why they wasted so much of my time, because they could have said that in the beginning 3 hours ago or 3 interviews ago before, because they could see that on my resume that I didn't have that specific experience. But what it is, it's an objection, and you need to overcome that objection, know how to handle that objection. And that is basically how you learn how to navigate those interviews. So you see like my beautiful drawing, which is not really a beautiful drawing. Anyway, I hope it made his point to you on how you can navigate a little bit your job search and to create that career success. Is like you need to look at it as a whole, because otherwise, and you need to start with that, with your unique value proposition. Then you have to create the right self-marketing material online and offline. And then you have to think about your strategy. And if you don't do it this way, then you're not going to succeed and you're going to keep bashing your head against a brick wall. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you. And I hope that all made sense. I'll stop sharing my iPad now. If you really like this video, just like give me thumbs up. The more people that give me thumbs up and really enjoyed this video, the more people I can share my message with, and the more people can hear what I have to share, and the more careers I can help transform. And that is what I'm all about, and that's what I want to achieve. Now, if you are stuck in your job search and you're looking for help to help you land your next 6-figure leadership role, reach out to me, schedule in a call. Where is the call thingy? This is a call, so you can book a call at newhorizoncoaching.com.au/call, and you and I will just have a chat. And on that chat, what we will do is, first of all, I'm interested to learn all about you. So where you want to be, what you want to achieve in your career, because job searching is just a friction. It's just like a certain period. It needs to fit in your overall career. So the job that you get, that will determine, that has long-term effects. So I need to know, as your career coach, where you want to be before I can even help you, before I can help you get to that goal. Because it's not just like fixing your resume up and your LinkedIn profile, up you go. No, it's understanding what it is that you want to achieve. And then you actually also, the second part, what is holding you back? Where are you stuck? And so we're going to define where you're stuck, where you want to be, what are the milestones that we need to achieve. We will work out a plan. And then basically, if you, at the end of the call, you say, Caroline, you are my lady. I want your help implementing that plan. Then we can talk about that too. Otherwise, you will spend the best hour on your career, or 45 minutes, 45 minutes mapping out and getting clarity of where you want to go in your career. I hope that makes sense. If you're not ready yet and you just want to find out more information, I have a free masterclass that is all about the 5 simple steps to stand out, get more interviews, and land your next leadership role. What I will do is I will pop a link below so you can have a look, check it out. It's going to be invaluable in terms of you understanding how it all fits together. So I just gave you a snapshot today, but it goes more in detail in certain elements. So hope this helped. Don't forget to give me thumbs up, and I will see you in the next live stream. Thank you. Bye-bye.